I was spoiled as a kid. My mom used to read us Greek myths, Greek and Roman mythology. Those were our bedtime stories.
I was in one of those stories too, you know.
um, and I remember her telling us about the three fates. Okay, there was boy. Now I'm not going to reveal my age, but this was decades ago. There was Clothos, Atropos, and I can't remember who the third one was, but there were these three old ladies that sat at a loom, right? You know what a loom is?
Mm-hmm.
Where you've got the weave and the woof or the wharf um, and one's job was to actually spin the thread. The other's job was to cut the thread, determine the amount of life that you had. And I can't remember the third one's name. I don't know. It started with an L, but I can't remember. But the point that I'm making is not about the three fates. It's about what the Greeks missed. It's about what the Greeks missed. The Greeks missed in telling their stories of the three fates. They missed the fourth fate, and the fourth fate was that one that had 20/20 vision that allowed you to look back on what you had been doing wrong your entire life. Right.
Right.
And Paul, one of the first things that I noticed when I met you, and as we started interacting was, boy, if only I had been doing that all along, things would have gone differently. Now, I don't regret things. I don't think you should go back and visit the past. I really don't. But I do find myself at times when I meet somebody like you, Bob, even when I meet somebody like you, you bring things to the table. Trey, you and I have had this conversation a million times. I learn from everybody that I interact with. And I don't take that knowledge and then go back and revisit and do the postmortem on my own life. Rather, I look at it and I try to say, well, how can I get better? And one of the things that I absolutely have learned from Paul is sort of soften those edges. That's what makes that, in my mind, that's what makes a great leader, is being able to soften those edges. And what I mean by that is it has nothing to do with how you approach a topic, whether you're forceful, as you suggested, or whether you're passive like I am, but rather, how do you look at the totality of the circumstances and not, it's one thing to demonstrate anger. It's another thing to demonstrate rage. Right. It's one thing to demonstrate pride. It's another thing to demonstrate, euphoric. Arrogance. That's just exactly. And I think one of the things that defines a great leader, is the ability to eliminate the rage, eliminate the arrogance, eliminate those sharp things, and really focus on the rounded corners. And quite frankly, that's something I haven't been able to master in the years that I've been doing this yet.
When I do that well, it's because I'm standing in my truth. You got to find your space in the world and sit there. And it's like boxing, most of the time, the boxer that wins will be the one that's in the middle of the ring. And that's because he or she is not having to move as much. It's a lot more energy to run around. And if you're standing in your truth and you're doing what you're doing from the center of who you are and the center of the organization or whatever, then it becomes easy. It becomes powerful. It's peaceful. If you're running around trying to be something that you're not, trying to not have those vulnerable conversations in some level, then you're gonna pretend and you're not gonna be happy.